Hey, good afternoon, day 46. It's after 1 o'clock. And okay, so the last video clip, you saw me coming out on at the Partnership Shelter, which is right at the Pat Jennings Visitor Center, which is right on the highway, Virginia 16, I think, that goes 6 miles east of Marion, Virginia. So, trying to make a long story short here. So, yeah, the visitor center had no Wi-Fi. I had no phone signal. So I needed to go to Marion briefly anyhow to get maybe a few food items, but mainly to get these reading glasses, um, as I explained in yesterday's video. But I decided to go ahead and get a hotel. And there was another guy that I had met just yesterday, and we hiked together a little bit, and then he and I split a hotel. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, under $40 for the shared cost. But that allowed me to get some nice food last night, and scouted out some prices on some food items. There's some Ollie's across the street. There's a Dollar Tree across the street. There's a Walmart down the road. So I still got to get that food. I'm going to go ahead and get 5 days worth of food, and that takes me that's good enough to get me to the next town of Harrisburg, with maybe a little bit to spare. So I've got the next 5 days planned out. I needed a hotel with a good Wi-Fi connection, and this hotel has it. I'm staying at the Red Roof. So I got a lot done, caught up on email, and more importantly, I took pictures and emailed those pictures along with a request for information to Leaky, the pole manufacturer, about that pole issue. I managed to squeak in a phone call right before they closed late yesterday when I got to the Pat Jennings Visitor Center. They did have an external phone. I couldn't use a landline. So I was able to make a call, and of course they're closed on the weekend. So she said send us an email with some pictures, and Monday morning she would send me some information, trying to get some information on what I can do to fix it myself, or do I need to send them in or whatever. So unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to be hiking with those damaged poles for at least another week. And then the other issue I had is I have a pair of Farm to Feed socks that I actually got free at Trail Days, and they had a hole in them. So I sent in a request with pictures showing the damage to get a free replacement pair shipped to me at the post office on up, actually north of Harrisburg. I'm looking at like Daleville, I think, or something like that. So I get to give them plenty of time to get a pair of socks, replacement socks, waiting on me. And of course, there's a train. Okay, I think the train is gone. So yeah, something else I want to say. So there's a lot of people here. I saw last night. The place was hopping. This whole area. A lot of people got off trail here in Marion to resupply, and I saw a lot of familiar faces. So that was neat. All right, it is 10 till 4, and I'm finally hitting the trail. I got a hitch pretty easy, so that was good. Really nice fella. And when I got here to the Pat Jennings Visitor Center at the trailhead, I saw Crockpot and several other people that I had run into before, Clicks, Mayor. So that was kind of neat. They're just goofing off. They just got back from town too, so I wasn't the only one getting out of town this late in the day. But they're kind of contemplating staying there at the shelter, that nice shelter there behind the visitor center, rather than moving on. I want to get some miles on the board today, and I got just enough time to get to this first shelter in 7 miles. So that's the plan. Should be there about 6:30. So see you later. I thought you was a toad. Name that movie. There's a sign right behind me that says this is a view of Walker Mtn. So there's no distinct mountain. It must just be the mountain range. All right, it is 6:20, and I am at the Chatfield Shelter, a little ahead of schedule. So I made pretty decent time. And this is going to be home for tonight. One other person here. So let me get some water because I am dehydrated.
I'm probably not even going to cook tonight because I had a couple of Sonic burgers back in town. Just drink some water and have some snacks. Good morning, day 47. And it is, I hit the trail at 20 after 7. That's the earliest yet. I didn't even eat breakfast. We had one little breakfast bar. But it's only 5 miles, 4.5 miles to a major road crossing with a couple of truck stops. So I'm thinking I'm going to get breakfast there. Been craving sausage and egg biscuits. So that's the plan. I can be there in 9 o'clock or before 9 o'clock. And okay, I just came out on a little 1/10 of a mile spur trail to the Settlers Museum, and a little sign and just some barns. Probably that white, looks like maybe an old church or old house or something. Let's see what's up. Yeah, I suspect this is just some individual's passion, with old tools. It's labeled the machinery shed, and some old types of plows and different things that he's gotten here. But kind of like the exchange place back home in Kingsport. It's kind of what I'm envisioning. Let's see what he's got over here. So yeah, that's a chicken house over there, and a root cellar. So they got things labeled. Grand old house. There's a granary. Some neat old wagons. Yeah, there's not much in the house. An old organ, an old stove, but a lot of potential. The glass, all the glass looks like in the house is the original. That is pretty neat. Yeah, that would make a great hostel or bed and breakfast. But back to the trail. So I came out on this road, and there's the main sign for the Settlers Museum. So you go behind me here, and you go to that farm that I was just at, and then in the distance there, you see that's the Lindamood School. So this whole area was settled, and that was the schoolhouse. And this newer house, this is a visitor center, and it's Sunday, so it won't open until 1 p.m. So the Grub Visitor Center. So I'm definitely moving on. But back there's the farm that I was at. Yeah, this is a nice area. So there's bathrooms, and back in there you see there's some tents, or a lot of people made it here and tent camped last night. I'm gonna walk on back there and explore. Shoot, yeah, man, this is a nice area. Pavilion. There might even be some kind of trail magic there. Nope, it's a Boy Scout troop. So here's the inside of the Lindamood School. And I was told you could have slept here last night. Neat. Okay, I just went under the I-81 overpass, and I ended up spending quite a bit of time. There's a couple of gas stations at the side road there, truck stops, and I was hoping to get sausage and egg biscuit. I left early this morning without breakfast, and there wasn't anything that they had that I didn't already have in my pack, like candy bars and honey buns. So I ended up having I just bought a cup of coffee there and had my standard instant cream of wheat breakfast. But back on the trail now. It is 10:23. That ended up being a pretty long rest. But moving on. Interesting little sign here. Of course, Davis Cemetery. It's this sign, you probably can't read it. It says Headwaters, Middle Fork of the Holston River, near early settlement known as Davis Fancy, 1748, Smith County, Virginia. So that Davis in Davis Fancy, I'm sure has something to do with the cemetery up here. So there's probably some very, very old tombstones. But what I think is really interesting is I'm assuming they're saying that this spring, see that little bridge there, is just a little tiny rivulet creek spring that runs through there, and that's probably the headwaters of the Middle Fork of the Holston. Interesting. I think I am going to walk up there, see if I can find some really old tombstones. I just climbed a hill, across that road way down there, and up this meadow, crisscrossing back and forth. But looking back, what a lovely valley. We're continuing on up, going back in the woods. All right, I'm stepping down here into this valley, and there's a Forest Service road here and a river. And so here real soon I'm going to cross that river, and the AT guide says that this is the Holston River. I'm assuming it's a North Fork of the Holston River. I'm not sure. I'll find out later. I've had to cross a few of these. They are kind of tricky with two hands, but I'm going to try to do it here with one hand. So, yeah, this is what you have to cross when you have a barbed wire fence. Third one today. 10 to 12 years ago when I was section hiking, had to cross a number of them, but they've all been taken out. So, the first three I've come across have been today. All right, I got to capture this on video. There's actually, this is kind of marshy ground here next to the river, and so somebody's put a lot of work into putting this little boardwalk in. But look at these flowers, the buttercups and the lilies. Not quite in full bloom yet, but you see, there's just flowers everywhere. Beautiful farm up here, beautiful farmhouse and barns. This is very bucolic, I think is the word. Very nice. And getting ready to cross the Holston River here. So something I fantasized about was maybe doing a floats trip in a canoe or kayak from the headwaters of the Holston all the way through Kingsport, and maybe something, you know, light that I can portage over the dams all the way down to the Tennessee River and maybe even beyond. And I'm seeing right now, if I come up this far on the Holston, it's just barely manageable with a kayak. Probably not a canoe. So maybe not even a kayak, now that I look at it, unless it's right after a big rain. So something to think about. Ugh, that's another tall one. All right, it is 8:30 p.m. I've been here since 3 p.m. and I decided to stay, obviously. This is the, what is the name of this? Bear Garden Hostel. Thanks, Steph. So yeah, so it's this place is packed out in the hours since I got here at 3, but I'm staying in this little cabin right here. It's got bunks in it, and then there's the main bunkhouse up there, and there's a shower. I mean, it's a nice little property here. They got 40 acres. There's a privy up behind my bunkhouse, but it includes you know, light continental breakfast in the morning and showers, and they have laundry service if you need that. But food is available. So I had a couple different items, and you just heat it up in the microwave. But yeah, nice place for $20. It's not bad. So this is Wagner von Bonderweg. Guten Nacht. Oh, and there's Siesta, who was serenading us.
I'm listening to Beethoven right now, so I can't really sing to that.
Okay. And there's my bunk. Wagner von Bonderweg. Guten Nacht.